Hello everyone, this is Mr. Souza, and today we're going to go over how to write conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive, and biconditional statements. First of all, I would like to ask you to give me a chance because this topic at first can be a little overwhelming with all the writing, but I'm going to break this down in a way that's going to be easy for you to understand. So let's get started. Given the hypothesis P, it's a video game console. Then you have the conclusion Q, it's a Nintendo Switch. So for the conditional statement, it's written here, parenthesis P, arrow, Q, close parenthesis. This means that if P, then Q. So whenever you see this, that's what it means. If P, then Q. So all we have to do is write this down. So the word if, notice I have the word if written in white. I'm going to write the word if in white the way it is. And then notice I did this on purpose. I have the letter P in red. I'm going to replace this letter P in red with this statement right here. It is a video game console. So let me go ahead and switch colors. So we have if it is a video game. Please make sure you also write this down. Video game console. And then I'm switching colors. It says here, comma, then. So we're doing the same, put a comma. And then you have the word then. And notice I have the statement Q written in blue. So we're going to do the same thing. Let's switch to blue. And then instead of the letter Q written in blue, you're going to write the statement, it is a Nintendo Switch. So like this. It is a Nintendo Switch. Like this. So again, for a conditional, we write if P, then Q. So in other words, if it is a video game console, then it is a Nintendo Switch. Now, does that mean that this conditional statement is true? Not necessarily, right? Because Nintendo Switch is not the only video game console out there, right? You have PlayStation, you have Xbox, and all that. But for now, we're not going to go over truth table. For now, I'm only going to teach you how to write those statements. Okay. So now moving on. Now we're going to do what we call a converse statement. So it's the same idea. However, instead of writing if P, then Q, now we have right here if Q, this is what it means, if Q, then P. So please pause the video and go ahead and write this statement down. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to go over converse statement. So we start with the word if. So if, and then notice this time Q comes before B, right? So we're going to use Q, which is written with the blue ink. So if it is a Nintendo Switch, and then let's switch colors. Comma. Then switch again. We're gonna go red. Then then we're going to replace the letter P in red with the statement in red. So then it is a video game console. So for the converse, we have if Q then P. So if it is a Nintendo Switch, then it is a video game console. And that's how we do converse statement. So moving on to the next part of the lesson. So here we have inverse. So this here means if not B, then not Q. Please pause the video and write this inverse statement. Hi everyone, welcome back. Now we're going to go over the inverse statement. Notice this time says if not B, then not Q. So we start with the word if, and you may ask yourself, why not write the word if not here with the white ink? I'm not going to do that, and here's why. If you're to write if not, it is a video game console, English wise, it would not make sense. So we have to write this in such a way that it does make sense when you write a statement in English, right? So now I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to go red. So let's see, go up here, switching colors. So instead, I'm going to write it like this. If it is not a video game console. So notice I'm not going to have the word in the beginning here, because if I write if not, it is a video game console, it would not make sense, right? So instead we write if it is not a video game console. Make sure you write that down. Video game console. Switching colors. Comma. Then, and then the same idea, you cannot write then not it is a Nintendo Switch. It would not make sense. So switching colors again. So we write then it is not a Nintendo Switch. So going back, inverse means if not B, then not Q. So we write if it is not a video game console, then it is not a Nintendo Switch. Okay, so moving on. Here we have contrapositive. So for contrapositive, it says if not Q, then not B. Please pause the video and write down this statement. Hello everyone, welcome back. Now we're going to go over the contrapositive statement. So we have if, switching colors, and notice this time blue goes first, right? So I'm switching to blue now. So if it is not a Nintendo Switch. Again, make sure you write this down. Changing colors. So if it is not a Nintendo Switch, comma, then switching colors again. I like to do this color coded so that way you don't get confused afterwards. I'm doing red, right? Which is B. Then it is not. Notice I'm doing a lot of emphasis on the word not, right? It is not a video game console. Here we go. And then lastly, we're going to do what we call a biconditional statement. So for biconditional, we have, notice we have the arrows going both ways. This means B, if and only if Q. So it goes both ways. Please pause the video and try to write this statement right here. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to go over the last part of the lesson by conditional statements. So in this case, we do not start with the word if. Instead, we start with be, which is the first statement. It is a video game console. So we write it is a video game console. And then we're switching to the white ink. And then notice it says the words if and only if. So that's what you're going to write next. So it is a video game console if and only if. And then we're going to switch to blue for the second statement. Q, which is written in blue, it is a Nintendo Switch. So it is a video game console if and only if it is a Nintendo Switch. Now, again, does that mean this statement is true? Not necessarily. But again, we're not doing truth tables for this. This video, we're only going over the statements, how to write those statements. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe.